In this video I'm going to tell you about the most important upgrades to get early on, how to make good use of the crafting system, how to deal with the weather conditions and more. In other words, the information in this video will make sure that you are prepared for anything that comes your way in Pioneers of Oloftown so that you can get the most out of your adventure. So for the first step I want to talk about the 4 most important upgrades that you want to get as soon as possible, starting with the 2 tools, the axe and the hammer. Wood and ores are the most important materials in this game, and when you start out, you spend a lot of time and stamina trying to chop down a tree or mine a rock. By upgrading these tools early on, you will be able to collect more materials by using less stamina, so you can spend more time in your day doing the fun things. Also, the more materials you gather, the faster you level up your skills, which allows you to unlock more fun crafting recipes and other upgrades in a shorter amount of time. Upgrading tools can be done at the tool shop in Oloftown. The price for the iron version tools, which is the first upgrade, only requires 3 iron ingots, 3 lumber and 1000 gold. The other tools don't matter too much as they generally only require 1 use to perform their action. If you want to upgrade more tools, you might want to consider doing the water can first, so you can water more crops at the same time. After that you can use any leftover materials to upgrade the other tools. What I just mentioned applies throughout the whole game, by the way. So with every new level of tool upgrades you can get, always prioritize the axe and the hammer first. Unlike in the earlier games, you don't have to reach a certain level before upgrading your tools, and you can immediately start using them after the purchase. The second important upgrade is your bag. If there's one thing I can tell you about inventory space in this game, is that you will never have enough. The further you get into the game, the more items you want to carry with you and the more space you will need. So upgrade this as soon as you can to avoid annoying situations. Just like the tools, the bag can also be upgraded at the tool shop, and it costs only 3000 for the very first upgrade. After that I recommend to wait a little bit with the second and final upgrade because it costs 15,000, which is a lot of money in the early game. But once you get to the point where you can unlock the third area of the farmland, that is the time where you really should have the final upgrade, because this area will contain a lot of new materials that you want to be carrying around. Also a quick bonus tip, if you are running low on inventory space, you can always place your tools back in the toolbar to free up some space for something else. The third important upgrade is your house. So while living in a tent can be cozy, you really want to upgrade into a log cabin early on. You can do this at the carpenter's workshop and you only need 20 logs and 2000 gold for the first upgrade. As opposed to older games, upgrading your house is done instantly. Now, having a house is important for 2 reasons. 1, you can now cook your own meals and start leveling up the cooking skill by using the kitchen. This also comes with a fridge, which is not only a good place to store your ingredients, but while cooking you can also use them directly from the storage. The second reason that makes owning a house early on great is having a pet. And while a pet is not a necessity, it is fun to have one, and on the last day of spring there's a special event called the Pet Derby. If you have your own pet before this time, you can join the event together, which is a lot more fun than just looking at other people's pets. The fourth and final upgrade I recommend getting quickly is to repair the broken bridge on the edge of your field. The field you start with is limited when it comes to space and basic materials. By repairing the bridge you get access to a bunch of new materials that you need to upgrade your tools and farm even further. Even if you don't need the space in this field yet, you can consider using it as a place to collect your makers, which brings us to the second tip. Love them or hate them, these machines are needed to turn basic materials into crafting and building materials. You will be using them a lot, and I really mean a lot. The concept is simple, you put in your basic materials, like iron ore, and a couple of in-game hours later it is done and you can collect your new material, which in this case is an iron ingot. The problem with these machines is that you can only add 1 item at a time, while most upgrades require multiple of these building materials. Throughout the game you will need a lot of ingots and lumber bars, so I highly recommend to create at least 5 ingot makers and 5 lumber makers early on, and to restock them every time you pass them. That way you will always have these important materials on hand, and you won't have to wait multiple days before you can unlock a cool new recipe or an upgrade. A little bonus tip to make restocking the makers easier is to order your inventory properly. When you use a maker, it selects the very first eligible item in your inventory and highlights that. So as you can see, I have both iron ores and silver ores in my inventory. Right now I want to create some silver ingots, and by placing the silver ore before the iron ore in my inventory, I can quickly add these to the makers without having to think. It might sound like a small thing, but trust me, it really adds up over time. Also, if you accidentally add a material that you didn't want to add, the only way to remove it is by picking up the maker and placing it down again. You can craft a lot of items in this game, but there are 2 items that I really advise you to craft quickly. The first one is stone item boxes. As mentioned before, you will never have enough inventory space, and these storage boxes are a great way to store a lot of items. The best thing about these? They only cost 50 rocks to make, which is really easy to get. The second item is sprinklers. You first unlock these once you reach level 4 in the fieldwork skill, and the beauty of them is that they water all surrounding crops and flowers automatically. This means that if you manage to set up a field that is fully covered by these sprinklers, you don't need to water your plants anymore, ever. The only downside is that they require 5 iron ingots and 3 silver ingots to make, so it will take a while to get a good view of them. During the spring season it will rain frequently, but in the summer it won't rain as much, so my advice is to start collecting materials during spring so that you can have these sprinkler items ready to go once the summer hits. Rain is generally seen as something bad, but when it happens in Story of Seasons it can actually save you a lot of work. By going into your home and listening to the radio, you can listen to a weather forecast that tells you when it's going to rain, and you can use this information to plan out your next couple of days. You see, if it rains there is no need to water your crops that day, and you can use that time and stamina to do something else instead. One downside from rain though is that your animals can't go outside, and because of this they will need extra food to eat in order to produce their eggs and milk. The food that all your farm animals eat is fodder, by the way. This is something you can choose to grow yourself or buy, and for both options you will need to go to the general store. Once you have your items, all you need to do is go to the feeding bin and place the fodder in there. My last tip is to sell one of each item, even materials. So as the game tells you early on, if you find a new vegetable growing in the wild and sell it via the shipping bin, the vegetable will unlock in a grocery store and the seeds for the vegetable will unlock in a general store. The same goes for flowers, but what's generally overlooked is that this also counts for basic materials. So whenever you find a new material for the first time, whether it's a type of grass, lumber or ores, I recommend to sell at least one of these at the shipping bin. You probably won't need this yet near the beginning of the game, but later on you may want to purchase materials to speed things up, and you can only do that once you have unlocked them in the stores first. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. I'm currently working on 2 guides, one for making money early on and one that shows you how to build relationships quickly with your love candidates. If you do not want to miss those, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and share it with others that can use it. And on that note, I want to thank you all for watching, and until next time.